Hi guys, welcome to Talk Techy to Me. My name's Brooke.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And today we're going to talk about a Lockheed Martin innovation.
We're here with Kim Ponders, who's responsible for strategic planning for multi-domain operations, also known as MDO.
So Kim, how are we using rapidly changing technology to prepare our armed forces for the security of the future?
Becoming proficient in multi-domain operations is a big part of that. Multi-domain operations is using all of the domains at our disposal, so the traditional ones of air, land, and maritime, combined with space and cyber, to be able to create synchronized effects at a rapid pace to create dilemmas for the adversary at a rate at which he cannot match.
Some might argue that we're already using multi-domain operations with the military. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they would be absolutely right. Multi-domain operations have existed essentially since warfare was invented. If you can think back to the Revolutionary War, for example, the British attacked Baltimore using both sea and land forces. Close air support is essentially air and land forces that are coordinated. The difference really today is the fact that we're talking about large-scale, theater-wide conflict that has global implications. And we're also bringing in those two new domains that are non-kinetic, both space and cyber. If you can envision trying to synchronize the effects that go across all of those domains together, that is a much more challenging problem than we've had in the past.
So Kim, with the rise of AI and autonomous systems in the commercial sector, are we using any of those systems with MDO?
Yeah, so AI and autonomy are going to be very important parts of multi-domain ops in the future. Two obvious places for that right now are pattern recognition and defensive cyber.
Could you tell me a little bit what pattern recognition is?
Sure. So as I mentioned, the battle space is a really complex environment. There's just a lot going on, and it's hard to even track what's going on, let alone be able to understand what's going to happen next or predict that thing. What if you had a machine that could look at the battle space and break down different parts that might take a human operator days or even months to be able to find patterns? A machine can do that really fast. So imagine you have a machine that can create those or can identify those patterns. Then your commanders have much better intelligence to understand or make better predictive analysis about what's going to happen next.
So what are some changes in the armed forces that are emphasizing the need for MDO?
As I mentioned, the battle space today is much more complicated than it was in the past. We have weapons like hypersonic vehicles, very sophisticated intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems that we never had in the past. And the technology that we have today is just astounding compared to what we have back when I was flying only 10 or 15 years ago.
From a Lockheed Martin perspective, how are we looking at MDO?
We really take a systems approach to multi-domain operations. We know that throwing a bunch of shiny tools at this is not going to solve the problem. It's just going to make it more complicated than it already is. So we're looking at architectures, we're looking at how to leverage the best parts of what exist in today's systems, like the Air Force's Air Operations Center, and also those small tactical technologies like radars and acoustics. We're working with the Navy on F-35 and Aegis synergies, and we're working with the Army on electronic warfare and cyber operations.
Do you have any current examples that showcase this?
Yes, so recently we conducted a flight demonstration to show that an F-35 can track missile information and send it via open architecture standards back to a multi-domain operational center. We are conducting exercises with the Air Force to look at different ways to create an integrated kinetic and non-kinetic plan, so you understand how those different domains can work together from the planning part before you go out to conduct tactical operations. And then we're also conducting what we call a Lockheed Martin Big Bet, looking at multi-domain architectures and distributed data management. This is going to allow us to put an environment in place that can allow those technologies to come in the future depending on what evolves and what's needed for the future battle space. So we don't have a system that is, becomes irrelevant in 10 years or 20 years. We want to start creating something that can be used for many decades to come.
Well, this is awesome, Kim. Thank you for coming to the show. I've got a lot more knowledge up here now.
And thank you guys for joining us. And don't forget, we want to talk techie with you. So like and comment with your questions below, and who knows, they may show up on the next episode. Bye guys.
Bye guys. See ya.